Alex Hunter stood on the balcony of his luxurious mansion, the dim light of the sunset falling on the ground. The surrounding skyscrapers reflected the last rays of the sun, a beautiful sight, but to him now there was only emptiness. Everything he had was a reflection of his tireless efforts, but when he looked at his hands, he felt a void, something missing that money and fame could not make up for. The partying, the casual relationships, the long business trips were all just coping mechanisms for the deep loneliness. For more than a decade, he had neglected his family because of the mistakes of his youth. He remembered the day he left Emily and Sophie. He couldn't remember what he was thinking at the time. But now, he couldn't erase them from his mind. The day he left, there was no return. Only stupid decisions, and when he had achieved everything, he felt empty. He could not forget the look in Emily's eyes when she realized he was gone. Regret flooded back every night when he lay alone in the quiet room. Min Tuan, what have you done? Alex asked himself silently, the old name, the name he used to call when he was still living with Emily. Now, he wants to find them again. He knows he can't change the past, but the opportunity is coming, and he decides to do everything he can to gain forgiveness. Is there still a chance to fix what he did? Will Emily and Sophie still have a place for him in their lives? Determined, he began to make plans. He contacted his old friend, James Reed, who had always stood by him despite the many times he had lost his way. James, who understood Alex's mistakes the most, was the only person he could trust to help him find his family. While Alex was reeling from thoughts of the past, Emily Hunter had built a new, stable, and responsible life for herself. She was no longer the woman who once loved passionately, but a resilient mother. Every day, Emily was reminded of what she had lost, but she refused to wallow in sadness. She learned to be independent, to build her own career, and not to be a victim of betrayal. When a woman is hurt, she has two choices: to panic and wallow in pain, or to stand up and start over. Emily chose the latter, and she found herself stronger than ever. Sophie, despite growing up without a father, was a happy child who trusted her mother. Emily had always been her role model, but Sophie always felt that a part of her life was missing. She felt her father's absence clearly, and although she never admitted it, Sophie always wondered if she would ever see him again. Their lives had been pretty stable, but that all changed when an unexpected phone call came. Alex Hunter had called again, and Emily was shocked to hear his name on the other end of the line. She hadn't heard from him in years, and she hadn't expected him to come back. But now, a part of her felt confused as she faced the past. "Hello, Emily. I'm Alex. You probably don't remember me, but I really wanted to see you and Sophie again." Alex's voice rang out, and Emily could feel the sincerity in those words. She didn't know what to do. The complicated and painful feelings returned. Was this a chance for forgiveness, or just part of the game Alex was still playing? The next day, when Emily told Sophie about the call, she received an unexpected response. Sophie couldn't hide her confusion and discomfort. She didn't want to have any connection with the father who had abandoned her for so many years. But at the same time, Sophie couldn't deny that the pain in her heart never went away. Emily looked at her daughter, her heart heavy. She knew that feeling well. Even though she had forgiven Alex in her heart, she could not easily forget the wounds he had caused. The years of hardship raising Sophie had not been easy, and Emily could not let a man who had abandoned them come back just because of regret. "We don't need him anymore, Mother," Sophie said, her voice a little hurt. "Why would you want to be with that man?" Emily took a deep breath and tried to explain. "Sophie, I know you might not understand, but people can change. He was wrong, but maybe he wants to make it right. It's a chance for him and a chance for us." Sophie looked at her mother, saying nothing more, but the tension in her eyes was undeniable. Days after Alex's call, Emily still didn't know what to do. She couldn't shake the pain of the past years. The feeling of betrayal was still fresh in her heart, and she couldn't easily forget the image of Alex leaving them without an explanation. But in Emily's heart, there was also a part of hope. Could that man have changed? Could he be given a chance to prove that his remorse and efforts to change were sincere? Her relationship with Alex had been a long story with much suffering, but was love still there? Or was it all lost forever? One afternoon, while working in the living room, Emily received a text message from Alex. I'll be waiting for you at the coffee shop at 2 p.m. tomorrow. If you're ready, we'll talk." This was a chance for them to get to know each other better, but Emily felt conflicted. She looked in the mirror, then at the family photos, where there were pictures of Alex from their time together. Memories that could not be easily erased. Emily decided to leave, not because she wanted to forgive immediately, but because she wanted to understand better why Alex decided to come back after so many years. The next day, the small cafe was on a deserted street corner. Emily arrived first, sat at a table near the window, and looked out at the busy street outside. She had mentally prepared herself for this meeting. She didn't know how Alex had changed, but she knew that her life was very different from the years before. When Alex walked in, he looked at her with emotion in his eyes, unable to hide his regret and longing. He was wearing a simple white shirt, his appearance no longer as flashy as before. Although he still maintained his elegant appearance, there was a hint of worry in his eyes. "Emily, thank you for agreeing to meet me," Alex began, his voice low and sincere. Emily did not answer immediately. She looked at him for a long time, then said softly, "I don't know where to start. We have been apart for so long, and I cannot forgive so easily." Alex nodded, not arguing. He understood how hard it was for Emily. "I understand. I don't expect you to forgive me right away, but I need you to know that I've changed. I can't change the past, but I want to make things right. I've lived with regret for so many years, and I realize that I've missed out on the most important thing." Emily looked at him for a long time, the old feelings flooding back to her. She said nothing, just kept quiet, letting those feelings pass. "What made you change?" she asked, her voice filled with doubt. Alex took a deep breath, then looked into her eyes, unblinking, loneliness, emptiness. "I had it all, but no family. I was searching for things other than love, other than family. And I realized that everything I achieved meant nothing without you and Sophie by my side." Alex's words confused Emily. She didn't expect him to say such words. But she still didn't open up easily. "So what are you going to do to prove it?" she asked. "To start over, I need to prove that I can do it. I can't change the past, but I want to be a part of you and Sophie's lives. I'll prove it with actions, not words." Alex and Emily's relationship began to change in small ways. Although Emily was still skeptical, she couldn't deny that Alex was showing real change. His actions, even the small ones, showed his sincerity in trying to make things right. He helped Emily with her work, got involved in projects she and Sophie were working on, and constantly showed that he wanted to be a part of their lives. But not everything went smoothly. Sophie was still very angry and did not forgive easily. She felt hurt when thinking about the past, when her father was not present during the important years of her life. Sophie did not even want to see Alex. She always avoided him whenever he came near. "Mom, I can't face him," Sophie said, her voice barely able to hide the anger. "Why did you let him come back? He abandoned you and me." Emily sat down next to her daughter, looking into her eyes with a gentle gaze. "I understand, Sophie. But you have to understand that everyone can change. I can't let the past dictate our future. I want you to see even the smallest chance that our family can be together." Things were finally starting to settle down. Alex and Emily's relationship began to improve, though it was still challenging. Sophie, while not immediately accepting her father, gradually opened up. Her conversations with Alex became less tense, though there were still moments of emotional silence. One day, as the family sat down for dinner, Sophie suddenly spoke up. "I think I understand why Mom gave Dad a chance. Even though I'm still angry, I know he wants to make things right. And I don't want to live in the past anymore." Emily turned to look at her daughter, her eyes filled with pride. She knew it wasn't easy to forgive, but it was the first step to healing. That dinner, though not perfect, was an important moment in the family's reconnection. The wounds could not be healed immediately, but at least they had begun the journey to find each other again.